lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome to the 2-mile high-speed thrill ride that is Michigan International Speedway, the house that Penske built. Tonight, we're trading asphalt for pixels as the best virtual racers in the world battle it out under the digital lights. This is where horsepower meets horsepower and strategy collides with skill. The concrete jungle of Michigan is a beast of a track, but it's long straightaways and sweeping turns. But tonight, it's not about rubber meeting the road, it's about the ones and zeros finding the perfect line. Can our drivers tame this virtual monster? Who will conquer the D-shaped oval and hoist the virtual checkered flag? Let's find out. I'm Dave Regal, the voice of Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Racing here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth, and I'll be with you through it all, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, back from vacation I am, and here at the racetrack we are all together again. I'm glad to have everybody with us. Thank you for tuning in, welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, as Mama Mac McConville out of Cape May, New Jersey, sending her greetings. Hey, Mama Mac. as I am glad to be back with you here at Michigan International Speedway. We had a wild night last night here, and tonight seems to be like it's going to be no different. In fact, for the first time in a long time, Parker Retzlaff does not hold the top spot on the qualifying timing. Austin Green right now, he's holding that, but you know, all things considered, here at Michigan International Speedway, it's a nice day for a race. 76 degrees in the grandstands here if you're in the bleachers on the front stretch down through 1 and, of course, coming out of turn 4. Asphalt temperature, though, 101 degrees. That is just this side of loose enough to make it fast, which is going to really drive those lap times down, as right now fast time is 38.39 seconds. Here at Michigan International Speedway, we want to thank all of you for being a part of this tonight as we start to peek in here on some of the drivers just finishing up their qualifying efforts. Of course, we have Sylvain Joly, who came back onto pit road. Daniel Moynihan, though, in the Duncan Dark Magic number 53, he went 21st fastest in his opening qualifying lap as he hauls it down here out of turn 4. We're going to see just how good he can do coming out of here. It's been an interesting night for many of these drivers as he comes across the start-finish line. Looks like he is now going to go 9th fastest. Claude Furland here. He's currently trying to get himself cranked up. We see Kavaja Holt doing the same thing. You can check out some of those qualifying times as we're going to go down here to Kavaja Holt out of Waynesboro here in the 00 Mobile 1 Ford Mustang. And right now he took it kind of easy there on the first lap, and we see him slinging it out of turn 4 and getting right down on the apron here across the Geico Restart Zone logos. And as he crosses the start-finish line, Kavaja going to have to fight his way into this field, and right now he is below the cut line. We have more than 40 drivers in the session. 38 will make it into the race. And, of course, here in the Xfinity Series, we don't have the Cup charters, so that does not become a rule. Eugenio Alonso here out of Buenos Aires, he is now out getting ready to run his lap as he has the number 26 Chevrolet Camaro sponsored by RS Button Boxes, and someone new tonight. We'll have to check that out with him. As he comes across the start-finish line, Eugenio just went P9, and it looks like he's going to hang his hat on that one for the time being. Austin Green still looks like he's trying to save a little bit of time just in case somebody else should beat him to it. And here is Eugenio Alonso's teammate and, of course, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer over at Jack Dow Motorsports, John Bawalda, getting ready to roll off of pit road. Let's see if he's going to, or if he's going to make me look like a clown, which is completely possible that he's going to do tonight out of Bel Air, Maryland. Yeah, he's just going to sit there and get some free camera time. So while he gets himself ready to rock and roll, let's take a look at our point standings. Things have changed pretty drastically here lately in the Xfinity Series, and just at least since the last couple of weeks. Of course, we had some off weeks due to the Olympics, which, of course, is a big deal. Everybody wants to tune in for speed walking, of course. I'm sure you were all glued to it. But Mikey Mac McConville climbs into the points lead here with 640 of those bad boys under his belt. 15 points above Brandon Minto, who was our points leader for such a long time out of the Furta Motorsports stable. Ethan Ball and Sylvain Joly swap positions as they now go 3 and 4, Ball and Joly, and just 19 points separate Ball from Joly. And, you know, as we get a little bit deeper, we start to see some of the closer battles. John Wilco and Trent Curtis only separated by a few points, 3 as a matter of fact. And then only 8 points between Trent Curtis and Dennis Mickelson. So things are getting really hairy deeper into the point standings that we can see here. And with the remaining schedule before the playoffs, I mean, there's still plenty of time for drivers like John Wilco to climb a little bit deeper into the top 12, for Trent Curtis to try to defend that 12th position. Of course, it would do each of them a great deal of help if they would just simply pick up a win. And, you know, I'm always silently cheering on the pride of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, John Wilco, representing the 570. But we've only got 5 more races after tonight before our playoffs start, that round of 12 on September 30th. Of course, we have the Wawa 250 powered by Coca-Cola coming up next Monday night. So super speedway racing at its finest. I hope you'll all tune in for that. Then a few weeks after that, we're going road course racing one more time this season as the Shriners Children's Hospital 200 will be up at Watkins Glen. And then rounding out the remainder of the regular season with our regular season finale, the Food City 300 at Bristol Motor Speedway. So I'm excited to see a lot of these drivers, performing at a super speedway, Darlington, Atlanta, Watkins Glen. There's a whole, literally just a salad bowl of racetracks and race styles coming up before we hit the playoffs. And of course, the playoffs, as I had mentioned, start there on September 30th, and we'll be opening up at Kansas. So an exciting round of 12 coming up come the end of next month. But right now, we want to focus on tonight, and of course, here at Michigan International Speedway, and go figure, the relay or the overlay wants to get stuck on the screen. It's almost a weekly thing at this point. There it goes. Thanks, SDK. We love partnering with you. We're going to take a quick peek right now and see if we can get a hold of Mike McConville, our points leader. And I haven't gotten a chance to talk to him since he has done this, but Mikey Mack, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. I'd like to speak to the points leader. Do you know where I can find him? My man. Bro, listen, I looked at the point standings. All I did was went to Myrtle Beach for a week. I didn't think I was going to come back and see this. Listen, Benny Parsons said it better than anybody. Consistency, consistency, consistency. And you, sir, have been more consistent than somebody taking Metamucil daily for fiber. Listen, I'm all for it. I look down here on the field, and I see so many of you that, of course, I have to silently cheer for because I'm not allowed to be biased. They pay me to be non-biased. But, here you are, Mama Mac in the live chat. She's, of course, tuned in. Her and I had a little back and forth while I was away. And, listen, I missed you guys, and I am stoked to be here tonight. All right, brother man, listen, that's your teammate. You do what you want. I don't want to mess with anything there in the old bedroom, but good luck tonight. And listen, I'm expecting to see that one car in victory lane. He went there. He went there, folks. You heard it here first on SRM. The gloves are off, and he will win at all costs. Listen, man, good luck tonight, and maybe we'll see you on the other side, man. Always, as we're going to get him back on up there into the JAR TCR stable. I'll tell you what, Mikey Mack has been one of those drivers that I've gotten to know this season really, really well. And, of course, a South Jersey boy not too far away from Philadelphia, just about an hour and 40-minute ride down there to Cape May. An entire song by Al Alberts. You can look it up on YouTube Music or iTunes or wherever else you find your music. Look up On the Way to Cape May. It'll get stuck in your head for hours. I will say you're welcome in advance. Right now here during the warm-up, about 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Let's see if we can get a hold of Brandon Minto, as now he has ceded that points lead over to him. Let's see where Brandon is up here in the Furta Motorsports stable. Hey, Brandon, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me? Buddy, listen, you're running P2 right now in the points tonight. You come in, with kind of a tall order to try to fill. What are you going to be able to do there in the 12 machine? Here's the thing. I've heard you play the survival game all season long, and right now, even as you're rolling out of 2 and coming down the backstretch, I can hear those tires screaming. Obviously, you're trying to hold it wide open here tonight. As you get deeper here and closer to the playoffs, are we just trying to hold on to that, onto that playoff spot so that once those points reset, you can really start to dig your teeth into these competitors? All right, man. Well, listen, good luck. You've got gridding coming up here, so I will see you on the other side, and I expect to see you somewhere near victory lane tonight, bro. Always. That's the voice of Brandon Minto, driver of the number 12 machine. Of course, always cheered on by Uncle Scott, tipping back the Miller Lights up there in Michigan. As we get ready to grid up here, let's take a look at that grid, as things are going to look a little bit different here tonight. Of course, we had so many drivers in the and here they all go. We had so many drivers in the server earlier that some of them didn't even make the race tonight, which is really exciting. As we take a look here, we see Austin Green going to sit on the pole position tonight. He laid down a 38.393 second lap. He's joined in the front row by Jacob Bradley. Parker Retzloff, of course, of the real world fame, he's going to sit on the inside of row number 2 alongside of Ben Garrity out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Row 3 featuring Bennett Allen and Tyler Sexton. Bennett Allen, of course, the 2022 SNN Xfinity Series champion, while Noah Hamilton and Mike McConville, Mikey Mack, our points leader, going to sit in row number 4. Row 5 features Daniel Moynihan and Eugenio Alonso, as they're going to be running 9 and 10 position tonight. That's your starting top 10. Trevor Ryan and Anthony Savignano holding things down in row number 6, while row 7 is going to feature Claude Furland, our neighbor from the north, and Ron Fitting. Dennis Mickelson and Brandon Minto going to hold things together in row number 8, while row 9 going to feature Nick Hansen and Ethan Ball. Row 10 and rounding out your starting top 20 is Sylvain Joly and Derek Bacorn, as Tyler Chalk, and that was too fast, Tyler Chalk and Matt Metler, my work wife here, going to be starting in row number 11. Eli Tomlin and Austin Call going to be in row number 12, while row 13 is going to feature Michael Pilardi and Tyler Hutter. Casey Bristow and Aaron Mack in row 14, while Ken Ron and Richard Pruitt going to be starting in row number 14. And here is Tony Burt making his return to the racetrack, as he's going to be starting in 31st position alongside of Brockton Packard in row number 16. Randall Watkins, Mr. 305, my brother in the fire service, driving the number 27. He's going to be rolling off in row 17 alongside of Trent Curtis, while Steve Herring and Diego Rodriguez will be in row number 18. And rounding out the rest of the field tonight going to be Matt Mackin and Kavaja Holt, as of course just 38 drivers going to be allowed in the field tonight, so it's going to be 38 of them taking the green flag tonight. Excited to see all of them getting ready to rock and roll here. As we get ready to fire off, the cars are already making their way through here. And as we go up here to Austin Green, we see the iRacing.com pace car lights are out. And as they work their way into turn number 4, folks, you know what we're waiting for. Here we are working our way through the 3-4 complex as the iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn, call a friend, and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Green flag in the air, and they're 3 abreast already in the second row as Parker Retzloff in the number 5 Funkaway Chevrolet is chasing down Austin Green. It is a 4-way battle for the lead at the drop of the green flag, and right now the meat in that sandwich is Parker Retzloff. They've sorted themselves out. There's the 15 of Bennett Allen trailing Jacob Bradley, and right now Parker Retzloff is all over the rear bumper of our race leader Austin Green. Oh, wow, that was a moment there. We'll have to go back and take a look at that. That was dangerous as all get out. And, of course, it didn't record the clip. But here we are crossing the start-finish line. Bennett Allen getting dangerously close here as we go on board. Bennett Allen trying to hold that low line. Here comes Parker Retzloff on turn 2 exit. This can get a little hairy. And loose as a goose is Bennett Allen, as he's got the Detroit Tigers paint scheme. He knows better than to do that to me here on the air, so I'm not even going to talk trash about the Detroit Tigers. They're just not that great, and not even in my division in baseball. As we work lap number 2. A little bit further deeper in the field, here's a mess of cars, and we can almost see that diamond formation. There's Anthony Savignano getting the chrome horn out to give a push to Trevor Ryan in the 18 machine. They have Eugenio Alonso on the high side with the 45 of Noah Hamilton leading this charge. But right now it looks like they're going to split him, as all of a sudden that Cane's Fried Chicken machine turns into the Cane's Fried Chicken sandwich as now he squeezes just to the high side of the 18 of Trevor Ryan. Austin Green, our race leader, as they're exchanging positions already. Here comes Trevor Ryan getting passed by Anthony Savignano as Ben Garrity, the Rabbi Ben Garrity in the Hooters machine. That seems a little counterproductive. All of a sudden, he has just laid down fast time of the race at 39.24. Drivers starting to stagger themselves around the racetrack. We can see that right here with the 25 of Dennis Mickelson as he chases down our points leader, Mike McConville. And as we go on board with Mickelson, let's take a look here and see what he can see as the Produce Place in Delhi out of North Cape May, New Jersey, driven by Mike McConville, tries to hold that low side. And here's the thing, you got to stay away from those seams. When you get on those seams, they are slicker than slick. It's almost like pure oil on the racetrack. And as we take a look here at Tyler Chalk, we're going to look back at Dennis Mickelson and see the gap between Chalk and Mickelson. And right now it looks kind of healthy, but at this point, even Parker Retzlaff seems to be, taking his time, so to speak, as he currently runs P3 just ahead of Bennett Allen. I want to thank one of our dedicated viewers for pointing out the audio problem. None of you heard the interview with Mikey Mac McConville, so I do have to apologize for that, as Spider Mike out of Maine has said hello. Hello, Spider Mike. Says Ahmed Altaf. Apparently, I should let the 53 know he just got home. Well, I'm good. You tell him. Jacob Bradley, our race leader, though, here in the 60 machine. He leads Parker Retzlaff now by just less than a tenth of a second, at .08 the gap right now. Parker not just sliding up here through the... and now, of course, Alan Bergen trying to infiltrate my telephone. Alan, you're going to have to wait till the end of the race to ask me questions. I can't type and talk at the same time. I can barely chew gum and walk at the same time, Alan. I can, however, drink and, do anything. Actually, that's not even hard for me. I can just drink and walk. Jacob Bradley now being challenged by Parker Retzlaff. We go high above here, and we can see Parker Retzlaff getting ready to work that right rear quarter panel of the 60. As they come here into turn number 1, we can see Parker now going wheel to wheel with him on the high side, looking for a way around him. They're going to be battling this out here on lap number 10. We have a total distance of 125 laps tonight for 250 miles. Of course, what that all translates to, of course, in the stage break realm, is stage 1 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 30. Stage 2's green and white checkered flag will wave at the end of lap number 60. Drivers are going to have 4 sets of tires for this event tonight. So they're really going to have to save some of those tires. I would say that the pit window is somewhere in and around that 35 to 40 mark. So the first 2 pit stops, they're going to be evenly scheduled. Though that last pit stop, though, whether or not you want to keep one in your pocket, that's going to be your wild card. Is nearly making contact is Parker Retzlaff as we come out of turn 2 and getting ready to go down the backstretch. These 2 drivers are ready to go at it hammer and tongs as they come past our backstretch cam. My goodness, they are not ready to give up, and suddenly we get a 3rd car into this battle, and here's Austin Green back for more as he wants the lead back from Parker Retzlaff. Of course, Jacob Bradley took it from Austin Green, then Parker Retzlaff served lunch to Jacob Bradley, and now Austin Green is back and better than ever, and he's ready for some revenge here for that lead spot. Looking a little bit further back in the field, though, here comes the number 12 of Brandon Mintos. He's working his way through the field. He slid back for a little bit. Now he's where he began after qualifying in 16th position. Austin Call up 6 spots right now, and Tyler Chalk as well as Sam Boland. There are big movers of the night. Tyler Chalk running in 11th position right now after qualifying in 21st, and after qualifying 37th is Sam Boland in the 67, driving for Jack Dow Motorsports, powered by Nitro Setup Shop. Side by side they go, drag racing on the front stretch, and here we come hauling it into turn number 1. Drivers going at it like crazy right now, and there's absolutely no real estate on the track. This is almost like last night's Cup race. Whoa, a rub of the wall for Parker Retzlaff. That's going to slow him down a little bit and maybe let him fall into the clutches of Bennett Allen, who now slides behind the 60 of Jacob Bradley. Bradley looks to the inside now of Bennett Allen, Allen now looks to the inside of Bradley, and they are suddenly window net to window net coming out of turn 4 and back onto the front stretch, and Allen is starting to melt as Bennett Allen now is door-to-door with Parker Retzlaff. Of course, I want to check on my work wife, Matt Metler. He's back here in the 64 machine, just kind of puttering around. Nice to see you, Matt. Appreciate you showing up. Feel free to start being competitive. I'll wait. Drivers scrambling all over the racetrack for the time being as they're looking for real estate. And, here's the thing. Last night in the Cup Series, we saw, more than 10 cautions come out, of course for cause. Everybody was side by side and racing tighter than a snare drum out here on this asphalt. Tonight, they're still side by side for most of the field, but they're doing it a million times safer as we're here on lap number 15 now, halfway through stage number 1, as they are 3 abreast here. Look at the 69 right now of Tyler Hunter as he's trying to slice his way through here. Oh my goodness, he now gets up here to the high side over top of Mike McConville, as McConville is door handle to door handle right now with Ethan Ball in the 96. And Ron Fitting here in the 3 starting to pull ahead of Mike McConville as Ron Fitting now gets the 3 machine into turn 3. And he's going to take that high line. He's going to try to use as much speed as possible. But you can see, as soon as that left rear tire got onto that seam coming through that, through turn exit as he was trying to rotate, you could see the back end of the car trying to rotate out from under him. So he manages to hold it together here on lap number 16 as we've now got 15 to go in stage number 1. Always happy to have dedicated race fans watching us and keeping me honest here is, of course, well, quite frankly, my dumbass didn't know how to keep Discord running through our OBS software. For some reason, I decided to have a complete brain flatulence moment, also known as a cranial flatulence moment or a brain fart, depends on who you ask. Always looking for a fun way to say the word fart. I'm starting to watch Ben Garrity work alongside of Parker Retzlaff, as now he's trying to get alongside of Bennett Allen. They go side by side with plenty of room between the two of them. It's almost like Ben Garrity knows that if he gets too close to Bennett Allen, Bennett is liable to get out the chrome horn, whether it's lap 18 or lap 8 to go. Bennett is one of those drivers that you don't want to cross. You want to race Bennett clean, because if you race Bennett clean, he'll race you clean. The problem is, if you race Bennett dirty, he will absolutely make you pay for it. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt. And I mean, we saw that a couple of weeks ago in the real world, of course, with Austin Dillon. And I'm sure Austin Dillon has a target on his back bigger than Target headquarters up in Minnesota. Tyler Chalk here in the 97. He starts to try to work and race against Eugenio Alonso. Eugenio qualified in 9th position. He holds on to that top 10 slot for the time being. But with 19 laps in the books, we're starting to see a lot of this race kind of form itself together. We see little packs of cars, 2 here at the front, 2, running in 4th and 5th. Claude Ferlin kind of trying to go after, trying to hold off, I should say, Tyler Chalk. And then we see a nice little grouping of cars from 15th all the way back through 25th. And everybody kind of trying to run as close as they possibly can to one another without wrecking. And so far, so good tonight here at Michigan International Speedway. Dave Regal with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Always glad to have you in with us as, wow, a little shuffling of the deck here as the 3 machine of Ron Fitting, I guess, trying to take notes from Austin Dillon, who drives the real-life 3 machine. Kind of scares everybody into scattering like cockroaches in daylight. Glad to have all of you with us here in the YouTube.com live chat. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. Of course, we've heard from Addison DeRosier, who's cheering on Brandon Minto. Larissa saying LMAO. I don't know who she is. Of course, we have the Michigan Rocker. That is cheering on Brandon Minto, of course. Michigan is where it started for Brandon Minto, so lots of memories here for Brandon. And looks like Marilyn Wurr retracted her message. Miriam? I don't know who that is. I don't know who any of these people are, except for Mama Mac and Michigan Rocker, Spider Mike. But, of course, I've got these folks that come in every week to tune in with us, and I'm very thankful for all of you. I feel like, we've gotten to know each other really well over the years. And, of course, this is my 3rd full year of calling Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series racing, and what a joy and what a privilege it is to sit here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth just outside the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Austin Green leads this race. He is our race leader. Trevor Ryan running in P2 right now. Parker Retzlaff runs in P3. Jacob Bradley and Ben Garrity make up your top 5, while Bennett Allen, Anthony Savignano, Tyler Chalk, Claude Ferlin, Daniel Moynihan, they're your top 10. Each of these drivers has earned their way into their positions tonight in tonight's race without the use of team charters. Of course, that's only a Cup Series thing. And quite frankly, all of them are really showing why they have worked this hard and done everything that they have to do to get to this point. Austin Green starting to gap Trevor Ryan now by about 1/10 of a second. He's holding on to that high line. He's kind of doing a little bit of an Earnhardt move here for the time being. But Trevor Ryan has now climbed up out of 11th position to come down the backstretch and go wheel to wheel now with Austin Green, as just kind of lurking behind them as Parker Retzlaff, and hauling it down into turn number 3 is Trevor Ryan. He thinks he can use this as, oh my goodness, almost getting boxed out by Green and Retzlaff is Ryan. And now Trevor Ryan slides back into 3rd position, and that opens the door for Parker Retzlaff now to try to set sail and go after Austin Green in the number 32. Trevor Ryan not ready to let go of P2 as he's going to have to duke it out with Parker Retzlaff here as we go up to our drone cam for the time being. And I'll tell you what, as we look down here upon the racetrack, we can see these drivers really fighting hard. I mean, you know, with just 5 laps to go here at the line in stage 1, everybody's looking for those stage points. And I mean, Parker Retzlaff has really sucked in a lot of those stage points over the last several weeks as he is on a 6-race winning streak. I think it's 6, might be 7. Who knows? By now it's probably 12 after everything that I've seen over the last several weeks. In fact, it's a 7-race winning streak that started way back at Iowa in June. We have not had a winner other than Parker Retzlaff since June 17th. The last driver not named Parker Retzlaff to bring home a checkered flag in this league is Trent Curtis, who of course is a teammate of Parker Retzlaff, but he took home the checkered flag back on June 10th at Sonoma Raceway. So, you know, everybody trying to figure out a way to get around Parker to try to get that checkered flag to take away some of his momentum. But I mean, he comes charging in here tonight looking to make it 8 in a row. Usually I'd say throw your hat when we get the hat trick of 3 wins in a row, but good Lord, he's nearly bowling a perfect game. And now with 3 laps to go in stage number 1, Parker Retzlaff takes over the race lead and he starts to set sail. This car is obviously built for the long run. We've gone 27 laps with no cautions tonight so far. We see just a couple of drivers not holding on to the lead lap. One of them happens to be Casey Bristow, and it looks like Chris Claude is running dead last. I don't know what's going on with Chris. He must have some kind of catastrophic damage, perhaps didn't bring out a caution. But my goodness. We're going to go back here to Matt Mettler, who again is just kind of running all by himself. He's the last driver on the lead lap. Tony Burt here second to last, so they're trying to find a way to get up here to Parker Retzlaff as we work here on lap number 28. Working our way toward lap number 30. They're starting to duke it out for that second position here at the end of stage number 2. 3-way battle for second as Austin Green, Trevor Ryan, and Jacob Bradley get ready to exchange blows here, coming across the line and getting ready to haul it down into turn number 1. The 60 car of Jacob Bradley now sits running in P4 right now, just behind Austin Green and Trevor Ryan. All of a sudden, it looks like he's going to try to get here around Austin Green, and there's the move. In fact, let's watch him as he works his way past Green, and they suddenly want to go wheel to wheel coming through the quad oval here at the front of this D-shaped track. And who's got the D? Michigan's got the D. We're on the final lap of stage 1 here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, and I could not be more excited to see some of this action here deeper in the field. Brandon Minto desperately trying to get up into that 10th position so he can get that all-important stage point, but he's got to get away and around our friend Claude Furland here in the 43, and I don't know if he's got it this time. As he's trying to get up there, he's going to have to draft a little bit and get ready to cycle through there and suck his way up to the back bumper of Furland. He gets a chance now with a run as Parker Retzlaff is coming out of turn number 4 and toward the start-finish line. Parker Retzlaff crosses the start-finish line and is our stage 1 winner. He'll be followed by Trevor Ryan, Jacob Bradley, Austin Green, Ben Garrity, Anthony Savignano, Bennett Allen, Tyler Chalk, Daniel Moynihan, and Claude Furland. That is your top 10 here at the end of stage number 1. And while we wait for everybody to get caught up to the iRacing.com pace car, we're going to quick take a break here, and we'll be right back with an interview with Parker Retzlaff.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Michigan International Speedway. Dave Regal with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. As pit stops have been completed, let's see if we can get a hold of Parker Retzloff now, winner of stage number 1 out of the JRTCR, and I don't see him. Parker Retzloff is now on Team Rogue. Hey, Parker, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got you.
Hey, man, listen, sorry I missed you last week. Some of us had to go on vacation from time to time. But, here you are just picking up where you left off. 7 wins in a row and now another stage win under your belt. How's that 5 feeling tonight?
It's feeling pretty good. I just had to fixed a couple seconds of damage. I still have about 15 seconds left, but it feels pretty good long run. I don't think I'm the best car short run, but I feel like I'm pretty good once this race gets spread out and the tires get wore out. So kind of need this race to stay green for it to play into my favor.
Now, I see this week, and maybe this is something that happened last week while I was on vacation, but what is with the Team Rogue chat this week?
It's just I had a couple of friends join. There's really nothing to it.
All right, 10-4. I didn't know if you suddenly switched teams and you went rogue on us all of a sudden, as, of course, you're usually with Jordan Anderson. Tonight, as we get a little bit deeper here into this race, what's going to be the strategy? Obviously, you don't want the short run, that's for sure. But what other kinds of things are you seeing out on the racetrack?
Yeah, it's just the first 10 to 15 laps are just, it's just all kind of a draft fest. There's really nothing happening. And then once the tires get wore out, you can actually start to race, and it actually becomes enjoyable. But the first, like I said, 10 to 15 laps are kind of just everyone's in a draft, and it doesn't matter how good your car is because you can't pull away.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, good luck tonight, and maybe we'll see you at the end of stage number 2. I know I'm counting on it. Let's see if we can make this 8 in a row.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, as we move him back on up into Team Rogue. As I was getting a little nervous there for the guys in the JAR TCR stable, but here we go, getting ready to go back. Green flag racing. Barney has the green flag in his hand down in the flag stand, and here we go. The iRacing.com pace car peels on down. We can see everybody with a little bit of a flash here. That happens on these larger racetracks with huge fields like this. And as they come into the Geico restart zone, Parker Retzloff hits the loud pedal, and off we go. Stage number 2 underway. Well, Parker Retzloff definitely took off like a shot here. Side by side goes Jacob Bradley, and now the 18 of Trevor Ryan as they go side by side. John Forstyle down the backstretch, and as the U.S. Steel number 18 tries to hold his own underneath the 60, Jacob Bradley in the Lowe's machine, he's got to figure out how he's going to get secure here in that P2 area as we watch Parker Retzloff blow on past the start-finish line and start to look out the rear here where he can see Trevor Ryan just to his low side really start to make some hay here. There's Bradley trying to fall into line. He doesn't get it done this time. And as they come into turn 3, let's see if Bradley's going to try to brake early. He does, and that's not going to do it. But that is going to break up the draft just enough that it's going to cause, a little bit of a trouble here for Parker Retzlaff, who has basically an angry hornet's nest behind him, trying to get themselves a win. And that's something that nobody's been able to do in the last 7 weeks. 9 if you really consider those 2 off weeks. Everybody's still running really thick to one another. Here is our points leader, Mike McConville, working just underneath Ethan Ball in the 96 as they go fender to fender coming through the front stretch. And now he drafts his way up to Sylvain Joly. And Sylvain Joly has a lot of success in this league from Sault-Eustache, Quebec. And we can see right here, as he's gone on in this series, that Sylvain Joly has not been one of those drivers that you can count out at any time during the race. As we take a look at his stats real quick, he's got 19 starts this season. He's already got himself a bunch of top 5s, 4 of them, as a matter of fact, 9 top 10s, and he is in search of that elusive first win of the season, does Sylvain. And, you don't want to count anybody out, but when you have competition like you have here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, it's really hard to sit there and say, oh, this person can overtake that person. I mean, think about it, folks. 35 drivers on the lead lap right now, and it's lap number 39. We haven't had a caution for cause just yet. We've had some mishaps floating around the racetrack, but nothing crazy. Of course, those mishaps seem to have claimed John Wilco, Noah Hamilton, and Rich Jett. Chris Claude back out on the racetrack now as he is back here in the 10 machine, so not sure what caused him to have to come off the racetrack earlier. Rich Jett already beating everybody to the beer stand as Jacob Bradley now overtakes Parker Retzlaff for the lead. Keeping an eye here on Austin Green in the 32, working to the inside of Anthony Savignano in the 50. They nearly touch coming through turns 3 and 4, and they are side by side, maybe a little bit of a wiggle from the 32. You can barely fit a slice of paper between these two drivers. And they are not having any of it, as now the 32 hauls it into turn 1. He thinks he's going to get around Savignano, but if he moves oh so gently, all of a sudden he's going to be our first casualty of the evening. But now he wisely gets out of the way of the 50 and sinks down to the low side, but he's able to pick up some side draft here from that window. Oh, there it is! I told you so! I called it! I said it here first, folks, and if you didn't believe me then, you ought to believe me now. Here on lap number 42, we have our first caution of the evening, and let's watch Anthony Savignano as we're going to watch from the blimp. Here comes the 32, and just as we go back to the nose, the 32 just gets a little tight and runs into the 50. And that brings out our first caution of the evening for cause here on lap number 42. Larissa wants to see the Moynihan. Let's see where Daniel Moynihan is. Right now running in 11th position after qualifying in 11th. Let's see if we can get a hold of Dan. Hey Dan, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're running P11 right now. Larissa said she wanted to show the Moynihan. She wanted me to show the Moynihan, so I am. I don't know who Larissa is, but let's just assume that she's got a thing for you.
Yeah, no, I know Larissa. She's a friend of mine.
All right, well, listen, she wants to see you, so here you are in all of your glory in the cockpit, and I emphasize the word cock and pit. Anyway, but listen, you've got the there's whiskey in my veins, sir. You've got the number 53 Duncan Ford Mustang here in 11th position. You qualified in 10th. What are you seeing out on the racetrack, and what's holding you back right now?
Definitely some dirty air. And maybe even the track temperature. I wasn't practicing on a low track temperature like this, and I am a little hesitant to like really try and push it around. And then also I don't want to wear out the tires too much, but you know, I'm trying my darndest, and this caution is a blessing for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it gives you a chance to sit there and decide whether or not you need to make any, any adjustments there to the 53. I mean, right now your track temperature is 102 degrees, and, you know, realistically, it's got to drop down to about that 95 mark. That seems to be the witching temperature here on the racetrack.
Yeah, I'd say so. 95 would be optimal, but, you know, we got to wait a little bit till then. But, I mean, overall, you know, car's handling good. I think if I'm patient enough, I can definitely get a couple of spots near the end of the stage here, and then hopefully a couple more before the end of the last stage, and be able to knock Retzlaff off his throne, possibly.
I mean, Parker Retzlaff has been sitting high, wide, and handsome for the last 7 weeks. I never like to root against anybody, but when you see somebody, you know, it's like when you watch the National Football League, and, you know, the Tennessee Titans go 12-0, and you're like, somebody has to do it. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, hey, I'm seeing Retzlaff as Verstappen in F1 right now. It's insane.
Yeah, it's
I'm
definitely
itching.
a little crazy. As, of course, now speaking of crazy, then my graphics card wants to do dumb things here. Never fails when everybody gets really close on a 2-miler and there's 35 of you. Yeah, this is like trying to herd cats.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, we got a lot of cars out here. There's a lot of competition.
Absolutely. Well, listen, man, good luck. I know you're double file getting ready to go back green flag racing, so hopefully that makes Larissa happy, and maybe we'll see you on the other side of one of these things.
Yes, sir. I hope so.
All right, brother. Going to move him back on up there into the Joe Gibbs Racing channel. I hope that makes Larissa happy as Jacob Bradley gets ready to bring us back to green. He's going to be alongside of Parker Retzlaff. Trevor Ryan, Anthony Savignano, Ben Garrity, Bennett Allen, Tyler Chalk, Claude Ferlin, Eugenio Alonso, and Brandon Minto make up your top 10. As here we are on lap number 44. It'll be 45 when we go back green flag racing. Jacob Bradley going to have control of the field as we come back here into the Geico restart zone. He hits the loud pedal and takes off. What a great restart he gets. And that's going to leave Parker Retzlaff having to be pushed now by Anthony Savignano, who is just involved in that wreck with the 32. And, of course, the 32 of Austin Green now running back in 35th position. Jacob Bradley starting to run away here for the time being as we take a look. It's going to be Retzlaff, Savignano, and Allen as Bennett Allen gets around Trevor Ryan for the time being, and Ryan goes single file just in front of the 65 Hooters machine of Ben Garrity. And a little bit of contact there between the 18 and the 15. We stay green, and no, we don't. Something else happened, and this one involved Richard Pruitt. We're going to see if this doesn't blink out on us, but Richard Pruitt's here in the 24 machine. He clips the 25, gets run into by the 4, and boom went the proverbial dynamite, as that, of course, sends the graphics card into having a seizure. If anybody wants to donate a new graphics card to Sim Racing Media so that we don't have these problems, I'll be more than happy to accept it on behalf of Sim Racing Media. You can have that purchased at Micro Center, and I will pick it up gladly and sing your praises all the way back home to Norristown. Jacob Bradley, Parker Retzloff, Bennett Allen, Ben Garrity, Trevor Ryan, Tyler Chalk, Claude Furland, Eugenio Alonso, Anthony Savignano, and Brandon Minto. They make up your top 10. As we are under caution for the third time tonight, second time for cause, as we're about 13 laps this time by to go in stage number 2. And this is the stage where everybody tries to put in those final changes to the race cars before they go and throw haymakers at one another in stage 3. So I'm really excited to see what happens here in stage 3. I mean, these drivers have already shown a lot of patience and poise. Only a few mental mistakes on the racetrack have caused some of these drivers, to make the mistakes that they have. I really don't want to blame this on any one driver, that's for sure. As we see everybody coming here out of turn 4. The iRacing.com pace car getting ready to turn the lights out this time, as we are getting ready to take the one to go from Barney up here in the flag stand. Two by two they go as we get ready to rack them and stack them. It's going to be Jacob Bradley, Parker Retzloff, Savignano, Bennett Allen, Trevor Ryan, Ben Garrity, Claude Furland, Tyler Chalk, Brandon Minto, and Eugenio Alonso. Mike McConville, our points leader, running in P12 right now. And so he's currently right behind, he's a few positions behind Brandon Minto. We also see, names like Aaron Mack and Brock Packard, John Bawalda, and, Derek Bacorn, who are all sitting here trying to make something of this race tonight. Spider Mike is watching from his phone on I-95 in southern Maine. You don't have to watch it. I will do my best to do this radio style for you so that you don't have to stare at your phone on I-95. Lord knows it's already one of the most dangerous interstates in the nation. Good Lord. I mean, heck, even everything crashes on 95. Even boats in Baltimore. The iRacing.com pace car slowly makes its way through turns 3 and 4. As once again, everybody blinks one more time as the computer's got to figure out how to render all of these beautiful paint schemes. Jacob Bradley brings us into turn number 4. Here comes the Geico restart zone. He drops the loud pedal. That rear end squats down to the asphalt, and off we go. Down the backstretch, it is anybody's race here in the battle for second position as Bennett Allen works just underneath Parker Retzloff. And Parker said earlier that he doesn't want to see those short runs come into play as we haul it out of turn 4 and back to the front stretch. We're going to be 10 laps to go this time at the line as Jacob Bradley still tries to haul the mail here in front of Parker Retzloff. The thing is, that's going to be good for Bradley if he's got Parker Retzloff battling it out with Bennett Allen. The scary thing is, does Bennett Allen make a mental mistake and all of a sudden Parker Retzloff goes to spinning? Of course, I don't want to call it like I did the last time, good Lord. But at the same time, we still have to be aware of what's happening on the racetrack. Now, here's the thing. Parker just got away from Bennett Allen and some of that side draft that Bennett was trying to lay on him. And now with 10 laps to go here in stage number 2, Parker Retzloff has to decide when is going to be go time to get around Jacob Bradley. He's obviously trying to make this 2 in a row now, as he has amassed more points than anybody over the last few weeks with all of these wins and all of these stage wins. But, it's almost like he's trying to use up Jacob Bradley. He's not trying to go out there and do this on his own and muscle his way to the lead as they come down the backstretch. He is right there, tighter than a noose on the left rear quarter panel of Jacob. Daniel Moynihan looks to the inside of Brandon Minto. Daniel has now worked his way back into the top 10, and now he starts the recovery campaign. He now looks to the inside of Brandon Minto, and Minto goes high, That's going to open the door for Moynihan to try to use some of that momentum, and he does as Minto rubs the wall, and down the back chute goes Daniel Moynihan here in the 53, just ahead of Mike McConville. Daniel Moynihan now stands to gain 2 stage points as he looks to the rear bumper of Claude Ferlin, and Ferlin has to be able to see Moynihan in the rearview mirror and think, oh man, he's got himself an extra large Dunkin' Midnight. It's black, it has no cream or sugar, it has nothing but caffeine and adrenaline in it, as Jacob Bradley now leads Parker Retzlaff by just more than 1/10 of a second. He tries to get a run on him coming out of turn 2, and it looks like he will, for the time being, retain the lead, but some of these drivers are really getting kind of chippy on the racetrack. Here comes Aaron Mack in the U.S. Army Esports number 31 as he chases down Ethan Ball in the 96 and is right in line with the 13 of Trent Curtis. Aaron Mack, as he looks out the windshield, this is what he can see as we go on board out of Fort Riley, Kansas. He's trying to draft his way up to the rear of Trent Curtis, try to get himself a good restart position for stage number 3, as Aaron Mack has tried week after week over the years to try to finally get that elusive win here in the Xfinity Series. But this is one of the most, competitive series on iRacing, and it's, even though we've had a couple of cautions so far this evening, this is also one of the cleanest Xfinity Series on iRacing.com. We take a look now at Ben Garrity, who's here in the 65. He works to the high side now of Trevor Ryan in the 18. They both trail Anthony Savignano, and the question is, when do you give up trying to battle the driver next to you and consider linking up and taking on the driver in front of you? Jacob Bradley now extending his lead, and never mind, he is now side by side. He can almost waggle his fingers through the window net of the 5. Oh my. Jacob Bradley and Parker Retzlaff exchanging blows here on lap number 55, and they aren't done yet. We might see them side by side coming back to the line on lap number 60 as we cross the 61 in just 5 laps from right this second. Looking deeper in the field here in 19th position is Brock Packard chasing down Austin Call, as just about 2/10 of a second separate these drivers. Austin Call last night had a rough night in the old Aflac number 40, as Parker Retzlaff now leads this race ahead of Jacob Bradley by less than 2/10 of a second. He has decided that 5 to go is the time that he has where he can really use up the rest of that rubber on his number 5 Chevrolet Camaro, brought to you by Funkaway. Side by side goes Trevor Ryan and Anthony Savignano, the 18 and the 50, going at it like a couple of kids in the backseat of the family station wagon. As they come into turn number 1, it looks like nearly having to lay the fender on him is Savignano, as he now starts to draft up to the rear of Trevor Ryan. And the question is, once he gets up there, does he dump him like the 32 did, or does he, and don't get me wrong, that was more in the 32 than it was the 50, but sometimes you become that magnet out on the racetrack that nobody wants to be around just because bad things happen. And now with just 3 laps left, we go under caution as John Wilco and Eugenio Alonso seem to have gotten involved in something. And unfortunately, we're not going to have that clip available. Maybe we will. Here's the 26, just in front of the 69. Oh, and he gets himself spun. Oh! And Austin Call gets, he just runs right into the 26. So that will bring out caution number 4 of the evening. And that should end stage number 2. So Parker Retzlaff, he's going to be our stage 2 winner. He'll be followed by Jacob Bradley, Trevor Ryan, Anthony Savignano, Bennett Allen, Ben Garrity, Tyler Chalk, Daniel Moynihan, Claude Ferlin, and Brandon Minto, your top 10. And we'll know if this is the stage break by what everybody does when pit road comes alive. Everybody's going to come down pit road and take a break, so we're going to do the same thing here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and this is Monday Night NASCAR.
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler, or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Welcome back to Michigan International Speedway. Parker Retzlaff just took home another green and white checkered flag as we are side by side getting ready to go back green flag racing here on Monday Night NASCAR. It's going to be Retzlaff, Trevor Ryan, Jacob Bradley, Anthony Savignano, Bennett Allen, Ben Garrity, Daniel Moynihan, Claude Ferland, Brandon Minto, and Mike McConville, your top 10 as we get ready to rock and roll. Ken Bryson saying, come on, Mike, pick it up, bring home the win. As, we, of course, have Spider Mike watching us live from I-95 in southern Maine. Of course, we're glad to have all of you with us. We want to thank you for tuning in, wherever you may be and however you may be listening here on Sim Racing Media. Dave Regal with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. As the iRacing.com pace car dips on down pit road, Parker Retzlaff going to have control of the field. It's going to be 65 to go here in stage 3, and in this race as Retzlaff hits the loud pedal and off we go. They nearly go 4 wide behind him. They're 3 wide coming through here. There's Bennett Allen trying to rock his way forward. And you don't want to be the meat in that sandwich. We saw that repeatedly last night during the Cup Series. And as everybody gets themselves nice and spread back out so the cameras don't start flickering like crazy, all of a sudden we see the 60 machine of Jacob Bradley chasing him down. My goodness. Jacob Bradley now less than 1/10 of a second behind Parker Retzlaff. The question is there anybody that can help him out? And Bennett Allen is not out here to be a team. Oh, there goes the 50. He holds it together, my God. We'll take another look at that. And here is a quick shot of that, of the 50. Losing it and then saving it. So that is your Code Brown moment of the night. Brought to you by Preen Fertilizer. Ben Garrity gives him a nudge and away he goes, but he manages to keep it together here. As we now run lap number 64 And all kind of hell has broken loose. As the old graphics card wanted to start trying to throw up. Appreciate it. Parker Retzlaff has now slid back into fourth position. Jacob Bradley is our race leader with Bennett Allen hot in pursuit. As whatever happened with Savignano back there may have disturbed the air around Parker Retzlaff, which caused him to drop down, of course, much further for Savignano. Looks like John Bawalda just stepped off track. Let's see what happened with him. Not sure what caused that. We'll watch John Bawalda here in the 51 here on the low side. And he makes contact with the 69. And he does it again. And through the grass he goes, but he keeps it pointed forward, and we stay green flag racing. And for the first time tonight, I get to say it, Bennett Allen, your race leader, while Jacob Bradley and Ben Garrity go side by side, John Force style, trying to figure out a way to get around Bennett. And now we start to see maybe a little bit of the strategery play out as 2x2 go the second and third position cars behind our leader, and then the third place car is able to swing itself out on the low side and get around the leader. But this time not so successful for Garrity or Bradley. As we run here on lap number 65, it's officially going to be 60 to go at the line as we take a peek at Daniel Moynihan, who we just spoke with a little while ago, as he is just in front of Brandon Minto. And here's the view out of Minto's front end, and Minto just has no place to go. And at this point, he's got to think to himself, I'm just going to be patient. There's no reason to sit here and get all wound up. I'll wait here. Daniel Moynihan having to do some defensive driving here with Trevor Ryan to the low side in the 18. And Trevor Ryan gets ready to secure away sixth position from Daniel Moynihan as Daniel is up here fighting tooth and nail with each of these drivers. Eugenio Alonso hauling it down pit lane as Trevor Ryan now gets ahead of Daniel Moynihan by 2 positions, and now he's pushed along by Moynihan. And maybe the two of them are going to try to work together to get up here to Parker Retzlaff as we look out the rear bumper of Retzlaff. All he can see right now is the nose of that number 18 Chevrolet Camaro here in the Funkaway Chevrolet. Savignano now all the way back up here to 9th and now 8th position as he runs alongside the 12, and it looks like he's trying to get some more positions here wholesale. Maybe he needs to see the rabbi before he goes looking for wholesale. Claude Ferlin running here in 8th position. He's just less than a tenth of a second behind Anthony Savignano. Ben Garrity, our new race leader, ahead of Bennett Allen. So it goes Ben, Jake. And that is the most Old Testament trio of drivers you could possibly come up with here. Ben, and Jacob. Hey. 40 years we wandered through the desert, Ben. And he doesn't need directions, and he's not going to be wandering for 40 years in the desert as Ben Garrity from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania leads this piece here on lap number 70. 55 laps to go at the line. We've had a few cautions tonight here in the Xfinity Series, but most everybody is now nice and single file as we look at the 69 car of Tyler Hunter. And Tyler Hunter works just behind Sam Boland in the 67 and the 08 of Sylvain Joly. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight on YouTube.com. Dave Riegel here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth just outside the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It was a successful alumni weekend for the Philadelphia Phillies over the weekend. Yours truly was in the ballpark for Saturday night, and it was fabulous. And, of course, the Phillies are off today, but they will be taking on Chris Claude's Atlanta Braves tomorrow night at 7:20. Looks like Zach Wheeler's going to be going up for the Phillies as Reynaldo Lopez going to be taking the mound for the Braves. Bravo's not doing too bad this year, but still not able to overtake the Phillies, who, of course, control the Eastern Division with a 73-51 record. Technically better than the Dodgers, so they're a half game better than the Dodgers. Half game better than the Royals and the Yankees, who are tied atop the AL East. It's a good time to be a baseball fan. That's basically what I'm trying to say for you. And, of course, we will not have a weekend without the NFL until February now. So if you're a football fan, snort yourself a big line of that NFL shield. I mean, we're really getting into the best time of the sports here. I mean, right now we've got NASCAR in full swing, getting ready to go into the playoffs. We've got whoa, there goes the 60 across the racetrack through the grass. He turns himself around. The roof flaps go up. He stays pointed. Wow. And he stays pointed forward to keep it green here. So the 60 now of Jacob Bradley, who was leading this race earlier, gets himself spun out through the grass on the backstretch and cedes the lead over to Ben Garrity. As I was saying, folks, I mean, this is the best time of the sports here, especially for those of us that live and die by the worldwide leader in sports, ESPN. And, of course, we've got baseball in full swing. Then we've got NASCAR in full swing heading into the playoffs at the end of next month. Baseball heads into the playoffs at the end of next month. The NFL is back. Hockey is only 2 months away from now. I mean, good Lord. And, of course, lacrosse comes in just a few short months for the NLL, of course, the Indoor Lacrosse League. Thank God it's indoor lacrosse because, quite frankly, indoor lacrosse is hockey without skates. Otherwise, it's gardening outside. But, at this point, if you wanted to wake up in the morning and snort the bottom line of ESPN, you would get your full fill of sports for the week, as now things are starting to separate just a little bit here. Trevor Ryan's got some gappage between himself and Daniel Moynihan, and Moynihan is in a really good spot for real estate as well, as he's not too close to Savignano, not too close to Trevor Ryan. Right now he's got P5 locked down as all of a sudden as if he's at ADX Florence there in Colorado, the Supermax, if you will. But Brandon Minto is back here doing battle with Tyler Chalk. Tyler Chalk in the 97 is holding off Brandon Minto for the time being, who's stuck up here on the high side. And usually there's a lot of speed locked up there, but he can't get himself a good drafting partner out of the 43 of Claude Ferlin, who currently runs in 7th position but directly in front of Brandon Minto. Right behind them is our points leader, Mike McConville, who's locked in a dead heat with Brandon Minto right now on the point standings. So what McConville wants to do is finish ahead of Minto, and what Minto wants to do is check off that win again and get a ton of bonus points, for the playoffs, especially as we head into that time of year for us here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. Of course, I've been calling this league now for the last 2 seasons, and this is my second full season doing it here for Sim Racing Media. 3rd overall and 4th involved in this league, as this was one of the first leagues that I had joined upon coming into the iRacing.com servers because I thought I was okay at it. And it turns out that I'm a fair to Midland driver. But speaking of driving, folks, I encourage you all to tune in on Sunday night right here on Sim Racing Media. Yours truly at 7:30 p.m. is going to climb back into the cockpit of the race car. It's time. We reached 4,000 subscribers here at Sim Racing Media. Thanks to all of you, out there on YouTube watching us. Thanks to all of our fine teammates here at Sim Racing Media. And I mean, we have a roster stocked full of talent here at SRM. So if you're interested in having a league broadcasted, you can always reach out to us. Our roster here at Sim Racing Media is full of good people, some great teammates. Of course, Alan Bergen is one of the people who's always behind the scenes and occasionally will step into the broadcast booth. Our chief cook and bottle washer, John Leach. My work wife on a Sunday night, Matt Metler. We've got, Saturdays with Emily Urias. And, we've got a rotating set of producers there on Saturday nights. But we are busy 7 nights a week here. You can hang out with Matt Metler, Shane Lake. I mean, all of us have a lot of fun here working together. So, I just want to thank everybody for making that possible. And, of course, bringing us to that 4,000 mark that puts yours truly back in the cockpit. And tomorrow is reconfigure day, if you will, as I'm going to have to figure out how to reconfigure the racing area here in the house because I've got to move the rig back downstairs for the first time in, a year and then some. It has been dormant and dusty upstairs, and it's time to bring it out and get ready to rock and roll. Because if you're going to do it, you got to go full send. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and try to do this here at the desk and mail it in. We are going to go full send here in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth. And you never know. You might see me pop up in some other leagues if I get everything, configured just right. Lord only knows I'm nuts for doing it. And Ken Bryson, I've got to be honest with you, it's a great time to be a baseball fan in the Northeast corridor. Of course, the Phillies are doing well, the Boreals are doing well, the Stankies are doing well. It's just, first of all, the Northeast is where baseball was born in this country. And I feel like when you've got good teams in the Northeast of this country doing well, in baseball, that's what brings eyes to the screens. Nobody, I'm not trying to knock it, but nobody cares if the Marlins make it into the playoffs. Even the Marlins fans don't care. You can look at Marlins Stadium, and there's like 16 people, a manta ray, and maybe a manatee in the ballpark. If they make it to the playoffs, the rest of the sports world is shocked, but quite frankly, when you have the Yankees and the Orioles and the Phillies going into the playoffs, I mean, that's just an exciting time in baseball. Of course, even in minor league baseball, if you go over to MILB.com, you can check out all of our double and triple A action here on the East Coast. Of course, yours truly a huge fan of the Reading Fightin' Phils in the Double A Eastern League. And, of course, the Fightin' Phils are awful. They've been for decades. No chance at a championship there for the Reading Fightin' Phils, but of course you can always check out the Eastern League and maybe even see teams like the Hartford Yard Goats, which is my favorite not Reading team. Turns out there's no game scheduled today in Double-A action. That's weird. In all of Double-A baseball, there's nobody playing. Who knew? Now, the Eastern League tomorrow, speaking of the Hartford Yard Goats, they'll be in New Hampshire tomorrow. And there's a whole bunch of really good, fun stadiums to go to in the Eastern League. Of course, the Harrisburg Senators out there on City Island in Harrisburg, PA. The Akron Rubber Ducks. You can come to Reading for my money, it's the best team. It's the best stadium in all of minor league baseball. You can go see the Bowie Bay Sox. They're going to be hosting the Erie Seawolves tomorrow night. The New Hampshire Fisher Cats, the Richmond Flying Squirrels, and you can see that right from I-95. And if you want to find the cool team names, it's always, in minor league baseball. My personal favorite minor league baseball team that's not Reading is the Montgomery Biscuits, because it's just fun. They've got a little biscuit as their logo. You can check them out. Dave's going down a dangerous rabbit hole. It's time to stop thinking about minor league baseball. Little League World Series awful. Thanks, Mama Mac. I forgot about that. Out there in Williamsport, of course, home of the former Williamsport Crosscutters that were a single-A affiliate of the Phillies. And you know what? Little League World Series has never really fascinated me that much. I like the fat kid that said that he just hits dingers because he reminded me of me as a small child. But Parker Retzlaff, let's get back to racing. Lap number 85, 40 to go this time at the line. Parker Retzlaff is our race leader. He has gotten around Ben Garrity, Bennett Allen, Trevor Ryan, Tyler Chalk, Daniel Moynihan, Anthony Savignano, Brandon Minto, Claude Ferlin, and Ethan Ball, your top 10. As we look back here, we start to see Daniel Moynihan under a little bit of an assault from Anthony Savignano. Savignano here in the Menards Mobile Gas number 50 Toyota Supra makes contact. Oh, Jesus. Holy Lord. We didn't even have anybody named Jesus in this league, but we do now. Now Brandon Minto is going to squeeze on by Moynihan. I'm not sure what caused some of the wind to come out of his sail, but Moynihan's starting to slide back to where he had qualified in P10 as he's on his way there here on lap number 87. Parker Retzlaff starting to gap Ben Garrity by now more than a second. And this is the Parker Retzlaff that we've seen all season long here in the Xfinity Series, as he is just going to start serving everybody some lunch. Tyler Hunter in the 69. He runs just behind Trent Curtis now by just about a tenth of a second. And there's Curtis in the 13 trying to hold him off. He is the TC in the JR TCR stable, as Parker Retzlaff runs away from Ben Garrity now by 1.9 seconds. Big things going on around the country right now. Of course, the DNC meeting in Chicago. If you pay attention to current events and politics, I don't want to hear your personal views. I'm just reporting the news. It's just what happens to be going on in the real world, away from iRacing.com, as things have really started to cool down here at the racetrack. A lot of drivers going single file. Some of these battles have really cooled off, and nobody's really got anything right now for Parker Retzlaff, who is now 2.27 seconds and gaining over Ben Garrity. I mean, this is the long run that Retzlaff was talking about. Even as we look deeper through the field, I mean, you know, we see Sam Bolin here in the 67. He's starting to work his way as I try to pull that cord back over here. Get up here. You know, Sam Bolin here in the 67 machine. He's trying to get his, you know, trying to hold off Tyler Hunter and Derek Bacorn, who are just behind him. And here comes Trent Curtis on the low side, working his way around Sam Bolin. Sam Bolin takes the number 13 up, or I'm sorry, takes the number 67 up to 13th position. He has gone up 24 spots after starting in 37th and is our biggest mover of the race so far. Moving in the wrong direction is Jacob Bradley, who has the number 60 running in 21st position after, now 20th position after qualifying on the front row. Parker Retzlaff is 2.5 seconds and gaining over Ben Garrity. And we have to start to wonder, is anybody going to come in here during the green flag series of this race and come down pit road maybe for just a splash of fuel, or do you have to get tires? As Mike McConville almost set himself up like he was going to, but he swings back out here for the time being. Claude Ferland now starting to move in on Mike McConn. Oh, wow. I don't see who that is. It looks like Tony Burt. Let's see if we can go back and see what happened with Tony. Here's Tony Burt in the 4. Oh, he catches the wall coming out of 2 and just shoots himself down the racetrack. Good Lord. Taking a look at Claude Ferland here in the 43, he leads Mike McConville, Tyler Hunter, and Baycorn here. That's Derek Baycorn. As there's just a little bit of a knot of cars here. Nothing doing right now as McConville has a little bit of a challenge here from Baycorn on the low side. And just ahead of them, all of a sudden we start to see a little bit more action here for Daniel Moynihan in the 53. Derek Baycorn trying to get around Mike McConville, as of course here in the late part of this race things are getting a little crazy here with the graphics. But John Bawalda now gets himself sideways. Let's take a look and see if we can find what happened with John, as it looks like he's got the 51 trying to come into pit road, and he may have missed the entry to pit road. And here comes Parker Retzloff down pit road as well. So Parker kind of gives a little bit of hope here to Daniel Moynihan. And while we go through this green flag cycle to avoid some of these graphical issues, we're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media one final time with now 26 laps to go at the line.
People want to define Gen Z, but that's our job.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
At a natural disaster.
I've saved lives. And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Masker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
No back into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Michigan International Speedway, where Trevor Ryan is your race leader right now with 20 to go. And just as I say that, Parker Retzlaff just slid right on by the 18. And now Parker Retzlaff, after coming in on lap 98, is getting ready to serve everybody their lunch. And barring a late caution here, we're going to see him come into victory lane for time number 8 in a row. There's Uncle Scott checking in, having a cold Miller Lite. Michigan rocks. And, of course, Uncle Scott saying that he's got a lot of great memories at MIS in the infield. And I'd be curious to know if they're memories that you enjoy or memories that you've lost, because, believe me, sometimes when there's enough Miller Lite flowing around, I'm not even sure what my name is. Right? It's not Miller Lite, but it's blended whiskey and 7-Up. Parker Retzlaff leads Trevor Ryan now by about a second and then some, as Retzlaff came in on lap 98, Ryan on 93. Our freshest tires on the racetrack belong to Daniel Moynihan and Ethan Ball, and, you know, it's just a 2-lap difference between those two. But take a look at the pit strategy for this top 10. Everybody kind of chose something a little bit different this time. Lap 98 for Parker Retzlaff. In fact, let's see if I can just get that. Lap 98 for Retzlaff. Then Trevor Ryan at 93, Bennett Allen at 96, 94, 98, 98. Trent Curtis supposedly came in on lap 91. Then 100 for Moynihan and Ball and 98 for McConville. It's kind of a different thing there, if you ask me. We're going to see a lot of different things here as we get deeper into the racetrack. Of course, our conditions have not changed too much, but we're starting to creep down toward that 95-degree asphalt temperature, and you know that really is the witching hour when you're talking about track temperatures and things like that here on iRacing.com, and I mean really anywhere. Once that asphalt hits 95 degrees, you've got a ton of grip in the racetrack, and it's just enough where you can have some crazy good speed, but at the same time, you know, you can really loosen the car up and slip slide around and really boogie around this track. But take a look at Trent Curtis here running in P8 right now. He's got the number 13 up 24 spots, running in 9th. Parker Retzlaff, Trevor Ryan, Bennett Allen, Tyler Chalk, Anthony Savignano, Brandon Minto, Daniel Moynihan, Ethan Ball, Trent Curtis, and Mike McConville. That's your top 10. And Mikey Mack told me earlier, and of course none of you could hear it because I was an idiot and couldn't get Discord running through OBS, but you know, Mike McConville really wanted to put the fear of God into Parker Retzlaff tonight, and just could not get it done as he runs in P10 for the time being after qualifying in 8th. And now Parker Retzlaff watches the 37 machine of Eli Tomlin in his debut race get his lap back the old-fashioned way, as Tomlin came down on 103 and is in full send mode with 15 laps to go. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight here on Sim Racing Media. And as I had mentioned earlier, we've got 7 nights of racing right now on Sim Racing Media. You can tune in with me, of course, every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Sunday, of course, I'm alongside of Matt Mettler. Thursday is usually Shane Lake, but the last couple of weeks it's been Alan Bergen, who comes out from behind the curtain and doing all of the admin stuff here and steps into the broadcast booth with me as well. Then Jonathan Leach, of course, he's our chief cook and bottle washer. We've got some great commentators. You know, Angel Santiago is a great producer. We've got, you know, just a roster stocked full of talent here at Sim Racing Media. And we want to encourage all of you, you know, if you've got a race or a league that you would like broadcasted, you can always reach out to Alan Bergen or any of us here at Sim Racing Media. We can point you in the right direction. Of course, some of our commentators, you know, like Jordan Brockel and Emily Arias, I mean, you know, we've got new folks coming in, you know, Daniel Paulus Jr. and so on and so forth. You know, there's just a lot of good talent here with all of these folks here at Sim Racing Media. And, you know, we are getting better and better every day. Of course, you can only have one number one, and that, of course, is yours truly here, the voice of Monday Night NASCAR and really all things SNN related. as Ken Bryson said that he's enjoying some chilled Woodford Reserve tonight. My man, look at you. That is some quality whiskey right there. I will give you a tip of the cap to that, sir. I am usually an Angel's Envy bourbon. It's delicious, and it's finished in wine casks. But tonight, it's just some cheap whiskey and some Diet 7-Up, and that's fine by me. Scotty, Uncle Scott says, exactly, many lost memories in the infield at MIS, and Brandon was there but was very young. So it was before his lips had touched the first bottle of Miller Lite. Now, as a kid, I remember that, if you got Dad a beer, sometimes you got a sip. And I was definitely that kid, like, hey, can I get you a beer over there? Can I help you out? Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of a charge here. It's one sip there. Points leader Mikey Mac McConville here in the one machine. He's currently running in 12th position after qualifying in 8th. He has been just struggling here tonight. I'm not sure what's going on in the one. I'll have to talk to him post-race, but Parker Retzlaff right now in the 5 is nearly 4 seconds ahead of Bennett Allen. Of course, another country heard from, yes, I know the graphics are terrible. I need a new graphics card, and I am more than willing to open the floor for donations to Sim Racing Media and Dave Regal's graphics card. Michigan Rocker checking in, camping out in turn 2 on the MIS infield. Great time in the early 2000s. I was not there. In fact, in the early 2000s, I was only just getting involved in NASCAR and really starting to pay attention. Unfortunately for me, my first complete race from green to checkers was February 18th, 2001, which is a tragic day in NASCAR. But I was excited because Fox was all of a sudden broadcasting NASCAR, and they really did change the game. In fact, Matt Metler and I had a conversation about it last night, and 2001 was really where Fox changed the standard and really raised the bar on broadcast production for NASCAR. I mean, it was suddenly must-see TV every Sunday, even for casual fans of NASCAR or no non-fans whatsoever. It was just a fun event. Seven laps to go here for Parker Retzlaff to seal the deal, and as long as nobody makes any stupid moves, he's going to get win number 8 as now Daniel Moynihan looks to the low side of Ethan Ball to try to secure away P8 as Boston, Massachusetts native Daniel Moynihan now moves into 8th position just ahead of Ethan Ball. Jacob Bradley on the recovery drive here in the 60 has now gotten back up into 7th position. Tyler Sexton has entered the pits, so obviously he's having a rough night here with 7 laps to go. But Parker Retzlaff, has just put on a clinic every week that he has taken the wheel here in this league. And I mean, quite frankly, if you do this for a living, you better be better than a bunch of guys sitting in sweatpants and shorts. Parker Retzlaff finished in 20th position after qualifying in 26th on Saturday in the Xfinity Series. So it's a big deal for him as, this was one of his better finishes of the season in the real world. And I mean, at this point, in fact, in 20th, let's see, his best finish so far was 11th at Sonoma. No, I lie. 9th at Portland. And he finished 3rd in Daytona and 5th at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So getting the win here definitely redeems him for that 20th position finish there. But finishing 3rd at Daytona back in February is absolutely something that he can shove right in the side of his cap, that's for sure. But with 4 laps to go, Parker Retzlaff leads Bennett Allen by 5 seconds, and Retzlaff is off to the proverbial races here in this race as he hauls it down the backstretch behind the 37 of Eli Tomlin, who was down a lap a little while ago, got that lap back the old-fashioned way, and now watches Parker Retzlaff steal that lap back from him here with 4 laps to go. Three laps to go, and Parker Retzlaff leads Bennett Allen by 5.2 seconds. One of the closer battles on the racetrack belongs here to Claude Ferlin, holding off the 99 of Nick Hansen. And Nick Hansen looking for any kind of a way to get here into the top 10 to secure a top 10 finish for him. But right now, it just seems like Claude Ferlin is too much to handle. And, this is truly one of the closer battles on the racetrack. We see Mike McConville trailing team owner Trent Curtis here, but as we come out of turn number 4, the popsicle sticks go in the air. We're 2 laps to go. Parker Retzlaff got the green and white checkered flags earlier on in this race, but it was not a dominant performance by any stretch of the term. He was kind of mired back in that 5th position for a little while, but as he hauls it out of turn number 4 one final time, well, second to last time that is, Parker Retzlaff sees everybody put those popsicle sticks down on the ground. The white flag is in the air, and we are racing back to checkers. Retzlaff, Allen, Ryan Chalk, Bradley Savignano, Minto, Moynihan, Ball, and Ferland. That's your top 10 as they stand now. Brandon Minto looks to make a move on Anthony Savignano, and he secures away 6th position for the time being. The question is, does Savignano try to come back at him one final time here? We'll have to wait and see. As Parker Retzlaff is in the 3-4 complex, it looks like Brandon Minto is going to finish ahead of Mike McConville by a good, healthy margin tonight. We'll see what that does for the points, but here at the line, Parker Retzlaff sees the checkered flag and captures it for the 8th time in a row here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. Parker Retzlaff leads Bennett Allen, Trevor Ryan, Tyler Chalk, Jacob Bradley, Brandon Minto, Daniel Moynihan, Ethan Ball, Anthony Savignano, and Claude Ferlin to the start-finish line. And on the podium is Bennett Allen and Trevor Ryan with Parker Retzlaff. And here in victory lane is Parker Retzlaff with win number 8 on the season. Hey, Parker, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me.
I got you.
Win number 8 in a row, 9 on the season. I mean, dude, you have been on a tear in this league. After finishing in 20th on Saturday, how does that feel to redeem yourself at this racetrack?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I just wish I, could have a car like this in real life and have some luck. I mean, I feel like my luck in this league has been very, very good, and just, not getting involved in stuff. I feel like it's always happening around me, but I'm never involved. So it just, it was really fun that race went green there. I, just kind of was biding my time and making sure that I had tires at the end of those runs, and letting everyone else just go lead and race each other for the lead if that's what they want to do, and just kind of hanging out and saving. So it worked out for me. I knew that I wasn't the best car on the short run, like I said in stage 1, but long run we were really good.
Yeah, I mean, you said it earlier in the race, and you finally got that long run here in stage 3. I mean, I was waiting to see the long run come into play, and everything that you thought earlier was absolutely accurate. And I mean, you killed it here in stage 3 and just ran away from Bennett. I mean, it seems like every week, you managed to dominate those early stages, and then, you were even mired back in like 5th and 6th position for a little while, fought your way through traffic and got up here to the lead one more time. I mean, how does that feel when you know that you can do it here on the virtual side and be able to translate that to the real world?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's definitely a lot of competition here. I just think that everyone, tries a little bit too hard at the beginning of these stages and just ends up wearing their tires out and then struggling at the end. And I think that these races have been very competitive this year. I wouldn't say that I've, just completely dominated all of them this year. And it's just we've had good cars, and just kind of making sure I execute and don't make any mistakes myself.
Well, and execute you did for the 8th time in a row, 9th time on the season here for you. And before we cut you loose, as always, who helps you get it done on the Funkaway Chevrolet?
Just everyone at Team Rogue and Funkaway for everything they do for me, and everyone who supports me.
All right, brother, congratulations, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
That the voice of our race winner, Parker Retzlaff. And next up here on our podium is, of course, the 2022 MNN Xfinity Series champion coming home in second tonight, Mr. Bennett Allen out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Hey, Bennett, you got me?
Yes, sir. What's up, Dave?
Buddy, listen, if you're going to finish P2 to someone, at least it's somebody who wears a fire suit for a living.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Just if he didn't join the league, I probably would have won that race. I was just like, if Parker wasn't here, I could have gone back-to-back at Michigan 2 years in a row. It's all good.
You know what, though? It really does make you have to turn up that patience monitor just a little bit. It makes you have to turn up the skill monitor for sure. And, I mean, I tell everybody, if you're going to race around Bennett, you better race Bennett clean, because if you don't race Bennett clean, bad things are going to happen to you.
I mean, the rule of thumb is I don't, mess with the bull, you get the horns, right? I don't really do anything until someone affects me, but I mean, I've been learning to just kind of keep my emotions bottled up, because in the past the emotions have gotten the best of me, so I'm still learning a lot in that realm. But I felt like tonight was good. I had a couple instances with people, but it didn't make me lose my cool. So just a run-of-the-mill race, really.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that I've tried to stress on the air multiple times this season. I mean, watching you grow over the last several years in this league, which now I can genuinely say that. I mean, you're getting better and better with that patience, with that discipline, and that's going to make you more successful. I mean, you bring home the championship back in 22, skip last year, but, I think, you've still got a chance to sit there and really try to light the world on fire as you develop as a race car driver. But before we cut you loose tonight, who do you need to thank, and who helps you get it done on the 15?
Huge thanks to everybody at the Outlier Speed Company group. They built pretty decent setups this week. Struggled a little bit on the long run. I was toying with some adjustments, and the last 2 runs were a lot of progress from the beginning of the race. Of course, JCTV, Bobby Blaze, B-Blaze, I can't speak today. B-Blaze Vintage and Bobby Blazer and all of them, and Sparky Speedway Jewelry, it's a new sponsor this year. Huge shout out to him. And I'm a little tired. I've had a rough day, so it was nice to get some laps in and have a clean race. And hopefully next week at Daytona, my Super Speedway luck gets turned around. I've had bad luck in iRacing for the past 2 months. My iRating is tanked. I just can't catch a break. It's never my fault. I always get involved in other people's mumbo jumbo. And Daytona's this week, and you already know how people race at Daytona, so I'm just gonna keep a cool head, and I have a busy week. I start work this week at my new job, so it's gonna be pretty busy. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully I'll see y'all at Daytona next week.
Buddy, trust me, I get it. Coming into the booth on a Monday night after, a cheese grater of a day in the real world, sometimes I'm really fading on a Monday, but tonight you guys kept it exciting. I look forward to seeing you next week at Daytona. Yours truly is going to be in the cockpit on Sunday night, so make sure that you hop into that youtube.com live chat and give me a thumbs up.
Will do, Dave. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend, as that was the voice of the great Bennett Allen, driver of the number 15 Ford Mustang, and out of Irwin, Pennsylvania is Trevor Ryan, driver of the number 18 Chevrolet Camaro. Hey, Trevor, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Dave, I got you.
Hey, man, listen, here in an early, I think this is your debut race. Yes, no?
Yeah, that would be correct. First time here.
So, what did you think as you came in here? Obviously you're out there toward Westmoreland City. I for some reason, I know that, and I don't know why I know that. But, you come into this league fresh, and now all of a sudden, you've gotten yourself onto your first podium. How does that feel as a driver coming in cold?
It feels pretty good. It was, I got a little damage at the end of stage 2 when we were checking up for the pace car, and I think it was some left rear damage, and just had a parachute on the straights. It was hard to kind of overcome that. It messed up the balance of the car a little bit, but overall, I was pretty happy with the pace. I like Michigan. I like the Xfinity car. I thought everybody raced clean. There was a couple little cautions that I wish we could have cleaned up, but you'll have that. Everybody's out there running as hard as they can, but I had a great time tonight.
Yeah, this league prides itself on trying to be safe, and we didn't have that many cautions. In fact, we had far fewer cautions than we did last night in the Cup Series. Drivers were giving themselves plenty of room here on the racetrack, which I was really excited to see, especially from a broadcast standpoint, because, sometimes you get stuck in that, cautions breed cautions mode, and we didn't have that tonight. And, you were able to sit there and claw your way through traffic, all the way up here onto the podium after starting in 11th. It's just, to me, it's impressive when you see somebody coming in cold and you're able to do that. And, of course, representing the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, glad to see that as well, as I'm from the other side of the state where, it's Philly, it's crap. But, listen, want to congratulate you. And before we cut you loose, who helps you get it done on the 18 team, and who do you need to shout out tonight?
I really just want to say thanks to my friends, family, the people that let me do this every week. It's fun to be able to sit down here and do what we all watch the big boys do on the weekends. Thanks to iRacing and NASCAR for their partnership to actually scan these tracks and the great simulation that we all get to run. I also would like to say thanks to Chris for running the ship around here. This is well organized. It was easy for me to get into the league. I think this is a great place for people to come and experience full-length race of whatever they choose. I also want to thank you and SRM for putting on these shows. I know these races are a huge commitment to broadcast, but from what I've seen, you guys have done an excellent job, and I look forward to continuing here in the future.
Well, and we appreciate the kind words here at Sim Racing Media. We appreciate you down there on the racetrack and the good show that you guys put on. And trust me, if you guys weren't going to put on a good show, I'd have nothing to talk about up here. So, listen, man, I appreciate you. Congratulations on the P3 finish, and we will see you next week.
Sounds like a plan, Dave.
Well, folks, another one in the books here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, and this one was another barn burner as Parker Retzlaff picks up his 8th win in a row, 9th on the season. And before we get out of here, let's take one final look at our results. Parker Retzlaff does bring home the checkered flag for the 8th time in a row. Bennett Allen and Trevor Ryan in his debut race join him on the podium. Tyler Chalk finishes in 4th, while Jacob Bradley rounds out your top 5. Brandon Minto, Daniel Moynihan, Ethan Ball, Anthony Savignano, and Claude Furland make up your top 10, while Nick Hansen got his way into 11th position. Trent Curtis finishes in 12th, while our points leader, Mike McConville, comes home in 13th, just behind Brandon Minto. So that's going to have some really interesting implications in our point standings moving forward. Sam Bolin finishes in 14th, while Derek Bacorn comes home in 15th. Sylvain Jolie, one of our neighbors from the north, comes home in 16th position, while 17th goes to Rich Jett. 18th position is Ron Fitting, while 19th is Tyler Hutter. John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania comes home in 20th, rounding out your top 20, while Brockton Packard, Ben Garrity, John Bawalda, Ken Ron, Chris Claude, Eli Tomlin, Aaron Mack, Michael Pilardi, Dennis Mickelson, and Matt Metler make up your top 30. Tony Burt and Casey Bristow come home in 31st and 32nd, with Tyler Sexton and Richard Pruitt in 33rd and 34th. And last but not least on the field tonight is Eugenio Alonso, Austin Call, and Austin Green, who all took the green flag tonight, as well as Noah Hamilton, who finishes last on the field out of the 38 drivers who took the green flag tonight here at Michigan International Speedway, the house that Penske built. And folks, I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, thanking you for tuning in and making us a part of your evening here on Sim Racing Media. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everyone.